Hello student, how are you all? I hope you all will fine and well at your home. Now, welcoming world of Sanskar Public School. Welcome in e-learning session of class 8, that is history. Today in this video session, we will discuss a last topic of chapter number 4, that is the revolts. The chapter is tribal society and the colonialism. So many revolt was held. Now in this revolt we will discuss about how the revolt had held and how the Britishers had crushed these revolts. So now let's start to know well by the video and the animation how many revolt had done and how it was started against the British Empire. Okay.
Now let's start to discuss about the Somali revolt, which revolt had done during the British rule, when the British rule tried to occupy the forest also and to harass the life of the tribal people, those who were depend on the forest and those whose life is depend on the forest product, because those who survive from the forest, and the forest was the God's blessed for him, and they thought that they are the real owner of the forest. So first of all we will know about the Munda revolt, and Munda revolt was held in Bihar and the Bisra was the leader. Bisra Munda was the leader, and the main motto of the Bisra Munda to get back the golden age. And what is the golden age for them? The golden age, he want that all tribal communities should do the farming in the forest as like before the Britishers they were doing. They also want that moneylender and the policeman and the Britishers should not harass and torture to them. That's why this revolt was started in 1899 to 900. That was the year in which this revolt was started. That's why Bisra Munda with their unity attacked first to the moneylender, those who cheated to them, and those who attacked and those who taken a money, those who given a money on the high rate of interest. That's why the Bisra Munda take revolt first of all the moneylenders, then the jamidar, those who take their land and became the owner of the land, on which land which was the dedicated to the tribal people, which was the tribal people were the real owner of that land. And now later the policeman, because when the tribal peoples were unable to pay the tax and unable to giving the rate of interest to the moneylender, then the policeman arrested them and tortured badly and brutally tortured them, suppressed them. That's why the Bisra Munda attacked again to the policeman also and create a riot and the big revolt against the Britishers. He wants that the Britishers should throw out, not from the tribal community, even from the India also, even from the nations also, because he wants that it is our nation and we should be the real owner of this nation. That's why the Bisra Munda continued this revolt, and this was the major revolt among the all revolt. How many revolt had held by the tribal peoples? Among of them, only the Munda revolt was the major revolt, and the Bastar rebel. Two rebellion revolts were there, those who were the major revolt and create a history in the tribal communities against the Britishers. And now Bisra Munda want that I should get the golden age. Golden age means he want that as a previous year we should cultivate the land, we should cultivate the forest after the burning of the tree, because it was the traditional, it was the culture of them. It was the traditional culture, yani previous culture meant like the annectors, what their annectors were doing. He want that we should also do the same as like the annector, but it was banned by the Britishers now, and that's why he's trolling that we want the golden age back as like the annector. And we can get it this golden age when the Britishers throw out from the nation, and until we will not fought against the Britishers, we cannot get back our fundamental right, we cannot get back our independence. That's why the Bisra Munda continuously fought, and firstly he fought against the zamidars, moneylenders, those who gave the money on the high rate of interest, then the jamidar, then policeman, then the missionary. Missionaries means the Britishers, because the Britishers were banned their practice of the worshipping. What is the practicing of worshipping? What is their culture? Their culture was banned by the British government. That's why he also attacked over the missionaries. And after this, But after this revolt, later the British government was having the power and the large standing army, and their army was the trained. That's why they got succeed to suppress the revolt of the Munda, and the all Munda community want that the golden age, the Munda age, that was called the Munda age with the Visra, means that when they will go get back their Munda age means the golden age and their old tradition in the culture, then the Visra will be the leader, यानी बिसरा उसके साथ उसका लीडर होगा. They want that, but British government was also got succeed to suppress them, to fill them, and this revolt was also failed due to the power, because the British government was having the power and they were not having a power as like the Britishers. And next revolt were again the revolt of Naga. This revolt was started for a few time, very little time, because this revolt was started in 1849, and in 1859 British government had crushed and suppressed them and tortured them brutally. And later the next again comes the revolt of Khassis. This revolt was started in 1829 in Assam. In this revolt also, again because in this revolt the Britishers want to construct the road and to cut it the tree, and they thought that the forests are the home, real home. That's why they were against to construct the road of the Britishers, and Britishers want to construct the road and the railway line and the bridge for their own personal benefit. It was not a beneficial for the tribal peoples in that time. That's why they were against of this process of the British government. But same, the British again got succeed to suppress them brutally and tortured them, gave a hard punishment to them, and those who were left, they were involved, forcefully involved into the plantation of the British government. And now the next again revolt, the later of the revolt of Kuki. This revolt was started in Tripura. In Tripura and the Kerala, and this revolt was started in 1829 to 1844, and again it was starting in 1859 and 50. But finally in 1859, the British government tortured them and forced them to surrender in front of the British government. And last, when they were defeated from the British, they were forced, they were compelled to accept the all terms and the condition of the British government, and they were again involved into the plantation. Means that continuously one by one, how many tribal community had started the revolt to getting their fundamental right and to the right over the forest, like the previous before of the British government. They were failed. Continuously they were failed due to the British power. And now the last revolt was the revolt of the Khons in Odisha. Khons in Odisha is a primitive life. Primitive means like which life is dependent on the forest, as like the we should say traditional culture. What was their traditional culture they were following. And in this revolt, the British government 1846, the fear the British would annex their land, because they thought that as like the Munda, as like the Kukis, as like the others, and Nagas, as like the Chota Nagpur revolt, the British government was also occupied their land. That was the reality. British want to one by one, the British continuously occupied the land of the all, and that's why in finally they were suppressed. But in 1848 they tried. They were only tried to revolt against the British, but before starting the revolt, British government suppressed them in 1848 and surrendered to the British rule. And they were also accepted the British rule, and how much land they were having, they have to be dedicated to the British government. They have to surrender to the British government. And the many revolts were there. And 1910. And the another revolt, the Coles revolt, K-O-L-S, Coles revolt. It was starting in 1831 to 1832, and this revolt was also called the Bastar revolt. Bastar revolt is a major revolt. Why? Because the people survived their life with the help of the forest, because they were collecting the fruits and the vegetables and extra, and the forest product, and then they had to sold out into the market, and then they have to earn the money and survive their life easily. But the British government occupied the forest to complete the regular supply of the wood to the construction of the road, to construction of the railway line, to construction of the watership and extra. And that's why they were banned to enter the tribal people into the forest, and that it was not tolerable. to the tribal people in Bastar, and that's why they started to rebel. But later, so many act was passed by the British government and suppressed their revolt, and those who were those who were found the guilty, those who were responsible to create the revolt against the Britishers arrest them and get the punishment and brutally suppress them. And it was the last revolt, and with that revolt, the revolt was to be ended, and the British became the real owner, and slowly they got getting the real ownership over the land and the forest also. And later they also set up the forest institution in Dehradun also. It was called the Imperial Institute of the Forestry Science, and Dietrich Brandl was the first general inspector of the forest. And after these revolts, the British Empire was appointed the inspector. Dietrich Brandl was the first general inspector of the forest, and he had to be set up the Imperial Institute of the Scientific Forestry in Dehradun, in which institution they had to taught the scientific teaching, scientific learning about the forestry, how to protect it, how to do the plantation, how to preserve it, and how to increase the productivity of the land, and everything. It is depend on the agriculture. And now this time this institution has also established and continue in our Dehradun. So now let's start by the animation.
The revolt of 1857 was the most dramatic instance of traditional India's struggle against foreign rule. But it was not a sudden occurrence. It was the culmination of a century-long tradition of fierce popular resistance against British domination. Pinch of the loss of independence, foreign intrusion into local autonomy, introduction of administrative innovations, excessive land revenue demands, and disruption of economy was felt at different points of time, which caused disturbances mostly of a local nature. Establishment of British power in India caused discontentment, resentment, and resistance at every stage among the people of India. The popular resistance took three broad forms: civil rebellions, tribal uprisings, and peasant movements. Now, let us have a look on these resistances and understand the causes, the time period, and the leaders involved. Uprisings of the Bengal region. Sannyasi rebellion, which broke out in the year 1770, was caused due to imposition of restrictions on sannyasis, like access to holy places and prohibition of collection of alms. This was followed by the incidental famine, which turned the sannyasis against the British. The sannyasis organized raids on the company's factories, state treasuries, and valiantly fought against the company's armed forces. The prolonged rebellion was later suppressed by Warren Hastings. Chor uprising broke out in the regions of Midnapur in 1778 to 79. It was led by Durjan Singh and was an armed retaliation against British, who insultingly called the tribes and oppressed peoples at chors, meaning thieves. Economic distress, enhanced land revenue demands, and famine compelled these tribesmen to take up arms. Ultimately, by means of bloody repression and the usual policy of divide and rule, British were able to crush the Chor rebellion. Ho tribal peasants of Chota Nagpur, Bihar, revolted in 1820 against the British rulers and the local money lenders and zamindars. Dislocation in the socio-economic living pattern, followed by forced alienation of their lands, led to discontentment. The zamindars and the Raja of Porahat appealed to the British for help, and the Ho uprising was ruthlessly crushed. Kol's uprising was centered around Chota Nagpur region of Bengal. transfer of land from coal headmen to outsiders like Sikh and Muslim farmers forced the Kols to take up arms. In 1831, the Kol rebels killed about 1,000 outsiders. The order was only restored after a large-scale operation. The Ahom's revolt was against the company's authorities of non-fulfillment of pledges, like withdrawal from their territory after the conclusion of the Burman War. The British, instead of restoring territories, incorporated them into the company's dominion, which sparked off a rebellion in 1828. The rebellion was led by Gomdhar Konbar. The war ended with restoration of Upper Assam to Maharaja Purandar Singh Narendra, and a part of the kingdom was restored to the Assamese Raja. The Santals who lived in the area between Bhagalpur and Rajmahal, known as Damniko, was oppressed by outsiders like the revenue officials, money lenders, police, and the landlords, whom they called Dikus. Excessive rent demands by zamindars compelled people to leave their ancestral homes and settle in the plains skirting the Rajmahal hills. The frustrated Santals rose into revolt in 1855. The Khasi rising, which took place in the hilly region of Khasi between Garo and Jaintia hills, was occupied by the East India Company with a plan to link up the Brahmaputra valley with Sylhet. Tirat Singh, the ruler of Nanklo, resented the intrusion into his territories. He won over the support of the Garos, the Khamtis, and the Singpos in a bid to drive away the lowland strangers. The insurrection developed into popular revolt against the British rule. Pagalpantis, a semi-religious sect founded by Karam Shah and other disciples of the Muslim fakir Majnu Shah, lived in the northern districts of Bengal. Karam Shah took up the cause of the tenants against the oppression of the zamindars. In 1825, Tipu, the successor of Karam Shah, captured Sherpur and assumed royal power. After the death of Tipu Shah, Janku and Dobraj Pathor took up the leadership and organized another revolt in the year 1852. Farizis were followers of a Muslim sect founded by Haji Saraitullah of Faridpur in eastern Bengal. Saraitullah's son Dadu Miah took upon himself to expel the English intruders from Bengal. The Farizi disturbance continued from 1838 to 1857. Khond uprising started in 1837 to 1856. It included tribals from Ghumsar, China Ki Medi, Kalahandi and Patna. The movement was led by Chakra Bisoi and later by Radhakrishna Dandasena. The revolt was against the government's attempt to suppress human sacrifice, introduction of new taxes by the British, and the influx of zamindars and sahukars into their areas, which was causing the tribals untold misery. Now, let us have a look on the uprisings of Western India. The Koli risings. The Kolis lived in the regions of Aravali, Vindhya and Satpura. They rose up in rebellion against the company's rule in 1829, in 1846 and once again during 1844 to 48. They resented the imposition of company's rule, which brought with it large-scale unemployment for them and the dismantling of their forts. Kutch Rebellion began with the British interference in the internal feuds of the Kutch region of Gujarat. In 1819, British defeated and deposed the Kutch ruler Rao Bharamal in favor of his infant. The British placed a resident to govern the area as the de facto ruler with the help of a regency council. The news of the British reverses in the Burma War emboldened the chiefs to rise in revolt and demand the restoration of Bharamal. Waghera Rising. Resentment against the alien rule, coupled with the exactions of the Gaikwad of Baroda, supported by the British government, compelled the Waghera chiefs of Okha Mandal to take up arms. The Wagheras carried out inroads into British territory during 1818 to 19. A peace treaty was signed in November 1820. The Ramosis were the hill tribes in the Western Ghats. Discontented with British pattern of administration, their leader, Chittur Singh, revolted and plundered the region around Satara. The deposition and banishment of Raja Pratap Singh of Satara in September 1839 caused widespread resentment in the area, and a chain of disturbances occurred during 1840 to 41. A superior British force restored order in the area. The Deccan Riots of 1875 highlight the social transformations brought about in the Deccan region of Western India during the first 5 decades of British rule. The Deccan Riots were an upshot of excessive government land revenue. The money lenders drew unjust tax and money from the peasants. The sole purpose of the rioters was to obtain and destroy the bonds, decrees and other documents in the possession of the money lenders. The peasant uprising spread to the most of the taluks of the Ahmednagar district. Bhils revolted against the English East India Company in 1817-1819. This series of revolts were led by Sevaram in 1825, 1831 and in 1846. Now let us have a look on some of the movements that took place in the northern India. Wahhabi movement was essentially an Islamic revivalist movement founded by Sayyid Ahmad of Rai Bareli during 1820 to 1870, which condemned the Western influence on Islam and advocated a return to pure Islam. It transformed into a religio-political movement, and Sayyid Ahmad aimed to revive and restore Muslim power in India by overthrowing Sikhs from the Punjab and the British from Bengal. Its important centre was at Patna, though it had its mission in Hyderabad, Madras, Bengal, UP and Bombay. The Kuka movement was a religio-political movement founded in 1840 by Bhagat Jawahar Mal in western Punjab. Abolition of caste, similar discrimination among Sikhs, discouraging the eating of meat and taking of alcohol and drugs, and encouraging women to step out of seclusion were the demands of the Kuka movement. After the British took the Punjab, the movement transformed from a religious purification campaign to a political one. The following were the movements in southern India. Kittur Uprising was perhaps one of the first uprisings wherein a women leader fought against British Raj. Shivalinga Rudra Sarja, the king of Kittur, and Rani Chennamma were hairless and had adopted Malla Saraja as heir of Kittur. Chennamma's rule on behalf of the minor prince after the death of the king was refused by Thackeray, the then collector and political agent of Dharwad. Thackeray invaded Kittur when Rani Chennamma opposed this, and a battle ensued where hundreds of British soldiers were killed along with Thackeray. The Polygars Revolt. When the territories of Vijayanagar Empire fell in the hands of East India Company, there arose a conflict between the company officials and the polygars on the issue of tax collection. The polygars rose up in rebellion and the first polygar war took place in 1799 between Katta Bomma Nayak and the company collector Jackson. Diwan Velu Thampi's revolt. The East India Company's harsh conditions due to imposition of subsidiary alliance caused a deep resentment in the state of Travancore. The ruler of Travancore failed to pay the subsidy and fell in arrears. A long and bitter struggle ensued. Velu Thampi was injured and died. Even though dead, he was publicly hanged as an example to the fate of those who rose against the British. Revolt of Raja of Vijayanagaram began in 1765 when the East India Company acquired the territories of Raja of Vijayanagaram, which extended over the northern Sarkars. The Raja along with his subjects fought a battle against the British in the year 1794. The Raja died in the battle and subsequently the company offered the estate to his son with reduction in the amount of tribute. Thus we come to understand that uprisings against the British were to restore the lost pride, property and prestige. Therefore, rebellion was the only ultimate resort to exhibit self-rights against oppressive rulers. It was to protect holy places, maintain self-dignity, end financial harassment, land grabbing, put an end to unemployment, and to avoid religious interference. Moreover, it was also a befitting reply to the local zamindars, money lenders, revenue officials, police, landlords, sahukars and local government functionaries who were hand in glove with the British. Brought to you by Compete India's Jeeto Bharat, a one-stop internet-based interactive coaching for civil services exams. For more information, log on to www.jeetobharat.com.
Tribal revolts. Many tribal groups rose in revolt due to above-mentioned exploitative policies of the British. Some of the noteworthy tribal protest movements were those of the Bhils in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra regions, Kols in Bengal, Bihar and Odisha, the Mundas in Bihar, the Gonds in Odisha, the Khasis in Meghalaya and the Santhal in Bihar and Bengal. Information about these revolts is available in tribal legends and folk songs as well as government records. In some instances, tribal rebels have regarded the leaders of the uprising as God's representative on earth. On the other hand, British government records regard these revolts as unlawful activities to be suppressed with brutal force. The historians carefully study both the tribal and the government records to learn the true history of these revolts. Tribal revolts in Northeast region. The northeastern region of India consists of 7 states, also referred as 7 sisters, namely Assam, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Tripura, Mizoram and Nagaland. Tribal population is quite dominant in this region. Due to continued oppression, many tribal communities stood in protest against the exploitation at the hands of British rulers. Manipur. The disunity amongst the princes of Manipur royal family led to a war between his kingdom and the British. When the king of Manipur died, his eldest son succeeded him to the throne. Surchandra was overthrown by Tikendrajit, who occupied the throne with the help of members of royal family. The British government declared war against Manipur in 1891. Tikendrajit and his followers fought very bravely but were defeated in the war. Tikendrajit was captured and hanged by the British. A memory called Bir Tikendrajit Park was built at the spot where he was hanged. Meghalaya. After British acquired the Diwani rights in Bengal, Bihar and Odisha, they wanted to build a road linking the Brahmaputra and the Surma valleys. This road had to pass through Khasi Hills dominated by Khasi tribe. The pleasant climate of Khasi Hills also made the British think of building a sanitarium in this place. The Khasis stood in revolt against the British to construct a road passing through their area, joining Silbet and the newly occupied Burmese areas. The Khasis revolted under the leadership of Tirut Singh. They burnt the European settlements, released the convicts employed in the construction of roads. They created much panic among the British officials. The British force had to face great difficulty in dealing with them. Ultimately, Tirut Singh surrendered in January 1833. Assam. In Assam, the land tax that the farmers had to pay to the government was quite high. It is said that in Kamrup and Darang regions of Assam, the British increased the tax by 50 to 70%. The British government confiscated the lands of those farmers who were unable to pay taxes. This led to a series of protests by the farmers against the British administration. Under the guidance of local leadership, large groups of farmers assembled in public places to fight against the British, but the British easily suppressed the rebels.